It is obvious to people familiar with the three big gaming giants right now that they are not brawling it out like they used to. The console wars have fallen wayside to each company taking their own direction in developing, selling, and marketing video games. Some may see this as innovation in its prime, with each Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo spreading out to explore new ideas and concepts. Yet, it has inadvertently left a gap in the competition between these players in the gaming space. Hello everyone, Wingodang here, and I was going to post this a little closer to the Microsoft Games Showcase, but unfortunately I got sick, some high fever, some chills, and some whatnot. I did get COVID tested, and the results came back negative, so that was a big relief to hear. Yet it was kind of a blessing in disguise, as Microsoft just made a huge move. They delayed Halo Infinite into 2021. I mean, that was their only major launch title for the Series X. So I still want to talk about the direction I think Microsoft is taking for their future and how even this delay plays into their overall vision. For those who missed it, and that should be literally nobody by now, the Microsoft Games Showcase was supposed to be the must-see event for anything related to first-party Xbox games. Halo Infinite was their main piece in the showcase, with the full CG trailer and a gameplay segment. Despite some graphical insufficiencies, it looked and seemed to play like all other Halo titles. And this is great for Halo, sure, but many other titles such as Avowed, the next Forza, and even Fable only got CG trailers. We were basically teased with the development of games as compared to their actual gameplay. Some of what they showed looked really good, and some others not so much. But there was one main point across everything shown that really stood out to some others and myself. To summarize a quote from another content creator that I feel said it best, this event showcased great reasons to get Game Pass, but presented no incentive to buy a Series X. Sure, while many presenters during the event boasted about the Series X performance and how these games will play best on Series X, none of these games really require a Series X to play. All of them are going to PC. Game Pass will be available on the Xbox One still. Microsoft did not really present consumers with a valid reason to pre-order or wait in any holiday season lines for their next-gen system. Of course, there will always be a dedicated fan base who will buy anything Xbox related on day one, but I don't feel like the general public was convinced by this showcase to buy a Series X. And you know, I think Microsoft knows this, and they are totally fine with it. A lot of research has been done to show adoption rates of new consoles. This graph from Statistia shows console sales from 2007 through 2018, representing the launches of two distinct console generations. You can see here and here that the sales were much lower the launch year of a new system as compared to later years in the generation. There are some outliers, of course, but the major trend is that a good portion of the general market does not upgrade on a launch year. There are many reasons for this. It may be a lack of finances, low interest, or not enough enticing games for a said system, and that does sound a little familiar, doesn't it? So what is the big idea here? Why is Microsoft ignoring exclusives for the Series X? What makes them think they can compete against the slew of mostly good games that both Nintendo and Sony are developing solely for their respective platforms? Microsoft is playing a long con, and I mean a real long con. We have seen multiple moves from Microsoft that show their true interest. They have pledged to support the Xbox One all the way back to the bulky VCR looking model for 2 years after the launch of Series X. All the games we saw at the showcase will not only be available on Game Pass for both current and next-gen Xboxes, but also on Windows PCs, in the Windows Store, and Steam. Microsoft is even launching their xCloud streaming service, which will be integrated into Game Pass Ultimate, more so minimizing the need for a powerful gaming box like the Series X. They have now even delayed their only major release for the next-gen console. Halo was hyped up to be this big seller, only to get delayed for more development time. And don't get me wrong, that's a great thing. But without Halo, I see literally no reason to get a Series X at launch. Maybe down the line, sure, but not this holiday season. Microsoft is focused on its ecosystem, sustainability, and accessibility. The days of big releases and keeping the market on just an Xbox system are over with. They want as many gamers on their varying platforms as possible. they end up with the money no matter where you purchase or play your games. The user who paid $60 for a game and the user who subscribed to $15 a month for Game Pass Ultimate is still providing revenue to that same profit pool. They are actually more inclined to market you Game Pass, as the consistent monthly charges are more profitable than the big sales at an initial release of a game. This is due to scaling. Game Pass is a fantastic deal for gamers. Not even trying to shit out here, it's just actually a good deal. You get access to some pretty high quality first party titles, as well as rotating third party games. Basically, there is always something to play or something new to try. The subscription model allows those who may not be able to afford, say, 3 higher price games to still enjoy all of the Xbox's first party offerings and anything else they bring on the pass. The idea is to accumulate as many users on the subscription as possible, not only providing great value, but having a sustainable player pool who are paying every month for games. Even months where Xbox does not have any major releases, they still get a steady revenue from those users. But how does xCloud fit into this? Phil Spencer said in an interview that when you talk about Nintendo and Sony, we have a ton of respect for them, but we see Amazon and Google as the main competitors going forward. Microsoft has been setting up their server resources for years, and their cloud gaming service has been in beta for a little while now. Google has Stadia, which has been struggling to take off due to both the lack of games and some promised but not included features, and Amazon has not done really anything in terms of game streaming yet. Microsoft has cornered a market that is not completely fleshed out like the console gaming market is. They are looking ahead to a far future where high-speed internet is so accessible that people naturally move towards convenience and playing games instantaneously from any device as compared to how games are handled now. Long downloads, constant updates, and only playing on a television or computer. Bundled with Game Pass, this is kind of a no-brainer for the average consumer. On top of all of this, streaming allows games to go beyond the potential of the box. There would be no intergenerational gap where part of the user base upgraded, but the other part is not. You wouldn't lose playing with your friends because they are on the old platform while you have moved on. Game streaming solves this issue, since the only upgrades needed for the end user is a faster internet connection. The entire service is sustainable because end user hardware does not change, just hardware on the developing and serving sides. The world is just not at this point yet. Many people still don't have a reliable internet connection, at least enough for streaming games. Some developing countries don't have internet at all. Many internet service providers are not ready to treat their customers like actual human beings and give them fair internet speeds. And there are a lot of concerns over game ownership and losing physical media altogether. In all reality, they still need this powerful box, the console, the Series X, in order to reach as large of an audience as possible. I mean, if they only offered xCloud right now as the only way to play first-party titles from Xbox, they would get hit with heavy losses. Options for the consumer will always be better, but boxes can't fulfill the vision Microsoft has for the future. Until then, they will wait in angst for the day where they can enter the streaming-only utopia of tomorrow.